Okay, great. So we're going to call to order Lynn Disability Commission meeting scheduled for February 3rd, 2026. Madam Secretary, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Rochelle?
Present.
Present. Tracy? Present. Patty? Present. Danny? Luis? Absent. Danny absent. Chris?
Present.
Present. Megan? Absent. But we do have a quorum, Madam Foreperson.
Thank you. Okay, so the minutes were sent out for January. Hopefully everyone had a chance to review those. So what is the wish?
Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Excellent, thank you. And then we
All
have
those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to the agenda items here. First one on the agenda is a request for sponsorship. This is Lynn Department of Public Health. They have a service contract with Triangle for Lynn Senior Center, and Lisa Tobin is going to give us a presentation overview of what they're asking for.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. So for the past couple of months, we have heard from the Council on Aging that seniors would prefer to have breakfast and lunch served to them at their tables versus having them line up and having to carry their food back. And some of that's through like mobility issues for different people who were down there. So we connected with Triangle Disability Services, who provide group supported work employment for young people facing like cognitive disabilities, so able to work in a group supported environment. We launched a pilot contract with them for 8 weeks to see how it would work out. We are I think we're in our 3rd or 4th week doing that now. And we are looking for how we will continue funding it after the pilot is over. Right now, we're paying for it from the formula grant money, which is from the state of Massachusetts, which is sent to the communities. Like, so Lynn, everybody gets them for their Council on Aging senior centers, where it's a kind of fixed cost. Paying for that takes money away from programming that we can offer for the seniors down there. So on top of grant writing for additional programs, we're always looking for support to continue to enhance what we're able to offer our seniors down there. We are also expecting the cost to go down. So right now where it's new, it's group supported employment. So it's for people who come with a job coach. Job coach keeps them like on track with the job responsibilities, so that eventually people will become what they consider competitive pay. And instead of having 4 people, we would take 2 people and pay them directly. So it starts at a higher rate and then works its way down as people become more confident in their abilities to do that job. So there's a sustainability feature in it.
And when does your funding?
So we have about 4 more weeks.
And we had Triangle, I believe, a request from DPW a couple of months ago with Triangle, and I don't know if that ever actually went forward.
That was my concern.
Yeah, I didn't see any traction on it. No invoices came through. No further discussion was had with it. So,
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I'm not sure what the status of that was.
Yeah, I believe so DPW had approached us about Triangle, and we did allocate some funds, but I don't believe they were ever used. I think one of the concerns with the Disability Commission at the time was that they would be Lynn residents who we would support and assist in paying. That was brought up with the last discussion with the DPW.
And that also was a fall pilot program to prepare fall.
Cleanups and
Late, it was very early fall, late fall. Maybe October, November, I believe.
I think we all did some research into Triangle and we were supportive of it the first round.
Yeah, and I I would be happy to do one or the other, but what is the funding you're looking for, Lisa?
The total cost of the pilot program is $9,660, I believe. It's just under $10,000.
16. How long would that be?
That was a total of 8 weeks.
8 weeks?
Four weeks that we've already done.
And how often are you looking us to sponsor? Just an 8 week?
Whatever you guys feel like you could sponsor. I mean, whatever you thought that you could do to help support continuing those services down there would be great. You know, I mean, if you wanted to pay for the pilot, if you wanted to give a small amount of money towards the pilot, anything that you give us is just money that we don't have to spend out of our formula grant.
Are they Lynn resident employees?
I know some of them personally. When I was down there to meet them and they are Lynn residents, I don't know for sure that everybody who comes through is a Lynn resident, but I can find that out.
Could we stipulate that?
I can ask, for sure, yeah. Yep.
How many seniors are receiving this service now in this pilot?
So every senior who goes to the senior center, we're averaging around 90 people a day.
90?
Yeah.
And that's subject to change depending on weather permitting, physically how they're feeling, like
Yep.
you could get more, you could get
Yep.
less. Could this expand out? Is there times of the year where there's more people than not? Are you seeing a little bit less folks now?
I think maybe some days might be busier than others, like bingo day is a big day.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more people. Coincidentally, Nick does some of the rounds of driving for the senior center, so he might even be able to tell you what days are busy.
I think I haven't been there long enough to know like the seasonal changes. Mondays and Wednesdays with 2 bingo days, there's a lot more people there. It's like a difference of like 40, 50 to like 110, 120.
Okay.
But yeah, seasonally, I haven't noticed a huge difference from the fall to the winter. I don't know if some of that changes, but yeah.
And this is basically, it's mostly table service. It's so that they can receive the meals in their seat.
Yeah.
And it's not outside of this center. It's just for
Nope.
people that happen to arrive that day.
Correct.
Okay.
How many hours a day do they work?
It's 9:30 to 1, it's 3.5.
5 days, right?
Minus any holidays that we all celebrate, yeah.
And the 60,000 that you have as an estimate for the year, that's January to December, all 12 months. Is there anyone, you mentioned the other formula grant, so that would be a secondary, or that's primary right now, but that would be another place where you would get that money from.
Yeah, so, so there's the formula grant. The senior center does always apply for other grants. Right now that they've received like a mass cultural grant to do programming. They've received like a yoga mindful meditation grant. So there are different grants that are out there to look for. The Friends of the Council on Aging are also looking into writing some grants. They're our fundraising arm. They can also raise funds on behalf of the senior center to help with costs and expenses associated with the senior center.
So Lisa, any funds we're to put in, that would open up your funding for other services that you provide?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what it comes down to.
If we didn't fund the 8 weeks or if we didn't fund, would funding be picked up?
I would have to find out. I'd have to see like if that's a big chunk of change to come out of the formula grant on an annual basis.
But if we picked up 9,660 for the 8 weeks once a year, where is the rest of the funding that can that be provided to maintain it?
So one of the things that I do have to do because it's over $10,000 is get bids, which I have gotten for after the pilot program. I'll be meeting with the procurement officer to go through those bids to figure out what our costs are. But they're all around in the same ballpark. So yes, after that, it will be determining how do we put the money together to pay for that on an annual basis.
But the figure you provide would get you towards the end of.
It would get us 52 weeks.
No, I'm sorry, the 966.
Yeah, that's the pilot. That's
To
the
get
8
through
weeks.
the end of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would get us through the 8 weeks to kind of see, does it work for us? Does it work for them? How's things going?
How are things going in this
Yeah.
third week?
It's good. You know what? It's a really nice partnership. There's a little bit of tweaks and stuff that I think needs to be made, but we met with Triangle. They were very receptive to hearing our feedback about what we need. That was just last week actually, and we're moving forward from there. So.
Lisa, honestly, I'm a bit reserved at funding this amount for a pilot and then the pilot fails and the pilot's gone away, and so is the funding from us. I don't know what to do with that, but that's just my reservation.
Well, you could certainly wait to see how the pilot went, and I can come to you and tell you like what we've determined is in our best going forward and what procurement has to say about that, and I can give you, this is what we'd like to do for the upcoming year. Here's how we're looking at paying for it. Like, what is there something that the Disability Commission thinks they could do to help?
Because I think as a group, I'm not speaking for all, but we were quite enthusiastic when Triangle came into the city
Yeah.
to help with of course, a group that we're representing. So if that didn't work out, then I would be all about going forward with the same group in a different setting.
Yeah.
I'm a bit hesitant again
Yeah.
with that
No,
pilot
understandable.
price,
Yeah.
with failure, pilot price and success.
Yeah.
Yeah, who? So you think you would be able to fund through the pilot and then come back to us?
We're trying to, that's why I've gotten the quotes. I have an appointment or meeting scheduled procurement to go over that next week so that we can be ready to do something after the 8 weeks and to figure out like, how do we play those costs out? Yep.
I think with DPW, that initial was gonna be similar to, we didn't call it a pilot, but it was what, a 6-week
Well,
task
we call it
order.
pilot because we
You know.
didn't want to fund something that they just started off the ground. We wanted to see that it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it was gonna come to fruition here, and
Do you recall the length of time?
it was 8 weeks.
8
It was
weeks.
either 6 or 8 weeks. That's why I think it was October, November.
8 weeks gets you at, right about that $10,000 mark, which
And probably that's what they were looking for.
procurement issues start to play
I don't-
into.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could withdraw that with Triangle, if Triangle is not gonna use that, if we could transfer that whole idea right over to Triangle via this
Well,
program.
that was kind of my thought, and where the procurement process on our end, we voted for allocate that money, but there's been no other action on that.
And you know that.
So that's what I'm kind of getting at, is that we didn't spend that money that we had allocated for the 8 weeks in the fall. Similar idea.
How could we reach, like, who would make that decision? Because it was Triangle and DPW. Would it be Triangle pulling the program or DPW not having the need? Or both? And we can't pull the plug on it, right? I mean, I'm not comfortable pulling the plug on the DPW program.
Well, I'm not uncomfortable treating this as a new request. Separate, like, I feel a little bit more flexible in that. I don't think we should be comparing what we said yes to for something else or using that. Like, I think this is a new request. I am a little bit, hesitant about the whole 60,000, but I certainly would be opposed to the 9660 for the pilot program. You're 3 weeks into it now. It's somewhat successful. They're getting feedback as far as things that they can improve. If at the end of the pilot, they want to come back to us and say, you know what, this is really successful, we want to ask for a little bit more money, then we can revisit it.
Then
Then
we can revisit that.
Yeah, and I just put the 60,000 in it to give you like the highest mark and
Mhm.
to give you a sense of how much money we're putting into this program. I really didn't intend it for you to ask you to pay for the whole thing. I was just hoping I could get a little something, again, like just try to find a bunch of things to help pay for it, yeah.
I just wanted to mention, I just went look back in our notes, and the Triangle program was presented to us in September for the cleanup. But the months that they want to utilize the cleanup are from April to November. So I'm not sure if we approved it for this coming April for them to start.
I thought that was the proposal, but we had said that we would start in the fall and kind of do it as that.
Almost immediately, we were almost behind the calendar.
And it was almost like a trial before the winter came to then
Oh, okay.
revisit the April through November, because we didn't want to make the commitment at the time. But we're looking to fund it in the fall, I believe.
Okay. to see if there's many more
Minutes from
notes.
that last week. What month
What was the
that?
date of it?
So this proposal came to us, well, it was dated September 4th. And then it just says seasonally while weather allows within the months of April through November. And then there's
Was that
the
a
information about bi-weekly for 4 individuals. $4.14 per week for 4 individuals. That's what it came out to be.
Was that us funding from September to November, the end of that year? I'm just trying to think.
And I know 8-week program starting October 2025.
Okay,
The commission will contribute as the financial provider for 8-week program starting October 2025. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was present.
okay.
We'll meet with Triangle Team to discuss their roles and partnerships for the 2026 season. And that was.
So maybe something happened and they just never got it off the ground for that short time.
Okay, so yeah, plan to meet with the team to discuss further roles and partnership for 2026.
Mhm. And yep, that's what I have in these minutes.
We're in 2026 now.
We are, but for a minute. So, in order to keep this moving, how about we put forth a motion to support Lisa Tobin's program with the Lynn Senior Center for the amount of $9,660.
I second it.
Now we can discuss that. We can hire it, lower it, but we need an motion on the floor,
Okay.
okay?
So the motion is on the floor as stated. Read them.
We support $9,660 as requested.
Okay,
That
for the pilot program.
for the pilot program. And that could be a one-time contribution with a reevaluation upon completion of the pilot program.
Okay.
I can finish that motion. How do you like that? I had to think of it though. Motion to support $9,660 requested by Lisa Tobin for the pilot program. Are there dates on that? It looks like January 5th, the week of January
That was the
5th,
week we started, yep.
week 5, 26 times 8 weeks. And then we will reevaluate.
Yeah, I'll come back to your next meeting.
Next meeting, or you need it after that? You need February? No, we're in February. You need March or April?
I can probably come March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reevaluate March meeting.
Oh, are you,
Further support.
are you the first Tuesday of every month?
We are.
You're 5 o'clock though?
Yes.
I can make that work.
Okay.
I don't know why you think today's Wednesday.
Okay, so motion has been made and seconded. Would you like a roll call?
Roll call?
Michelle?
Yes.
Yes, I just need the agenda. Tracy?
Yes.
Patricia is yes. Mr. Gator is yes. Motion carries. Lisa,
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I just want to say, like, we're really excited to be working with Triangle. Like, I think it's a really nice partnership. It's intergenerational. It's a whole lot of things. So my fingers are crossed that we'll make this a good go. We'll get to like that competitive pay and that we can continue those services.
well, you know what I'm thinking, and I'm thank you for coming forward. We don't have, as a commission, a partnership, a connection with seniors. So we have Lynn Public in there, we have the parks, but we haven't made a senior connection. So and Triangles really presented quite well and quite within our positions here. So I'm really happy with the partnership. So I really wish it success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Good luck, public health.
All right, so next on the agenda, Lynn Department of Public Health request response for the Lynn ADA self-assessment and transition plan. We have Nick and I believe
Lauren,
No, it's not Lauren, but Lauren had something come up with her family. She might be joining on Zoom later. She might not. But either way, I'll be presenting on her behalf.
All right, excellent. We're ready when you are.
Sure. I have these. These are the things that I already had sent out with the.
Are you sending out this?
Yeah, exactly. So you already have it.
I don't know if everybody does, but I do. Who else needs
For
it?
those online, he's
This was the,
referencing the material, the ADA self-assessment and transition plan scope of work document that was included with your agenda.
Yep, and so this is a document that Lauren had drafted up. So for context, I was working on a separate grant to get funding for sidewalk improvements. It was a MassDOT related grant. And I spoke with Lauren in the planning department about this, and she brought up this project, which is the ADA self-assessment and transition plan project, which there's kind of two big sections for it. So essentially, she had applied for a Massachusetts state grant to get funding to hire a contractor to do this self-assessment. What the self-assessment is a review of all public facilities. That includes buildings, parks, parking lots, the website, all rules, policies, regulations, everything that the city puts forth essentially has to be kind of assessed for its for meeting ADA standards essentially. And so that's something that a lot of municipalities are told to do, you know, to varying degrees. There's success in actually doing that. And so 2026 was the year that Lynn and the state had agreed to kind of get that done by. They had a self-assessment done, but it wasn't very thorough, it wasn't very complete. And so the state's kind of like, it's not that they're not like, you know, breathing down their necks about it, but it's something that is definitely on the radar. And it can affect things like eligibility for future grants and funding with the state. And so essentially Lauren wanted to make a big push to try to get it done this year. And so part of that is requesting funding from you guys. And then part of that is if we get that funding and raise those funds for one part of the project, it'll be a lot easier to apply for grants. A lot of grants open up this spring for the next fiscal year to complete the second part of the project. And so part one of the project is tasks 1 through 4 in the ADA self-assessment and transition scope. And that is everything from basically task 1 is community and staff evaluation and involvement. So that's setting up meetings. So this contractor, this scope of work is for a contractor that we would put out to bid and hire. And they would set up a staff and community meetings to figure out what the priorities are. They would do this evaluation of all the city's policies, regulations, et cetera. And they would do the evaluation of facilities and make a transition plan for these. And so that's tasks 1 through 4. Task 5 is basically everything else, which is parking lots, parks, and playgrounds, which is a whole other beast in itself. And so our estimate is that, and Lauren had spoken with a contractor about this project before, and they gave her the estimate that the tasks 1 through 4 is about a year of work for $75,000. And so our hope is that once we get that rolling and finished, that we can then apply for that next task 5, get funding for that through the state. But yeah, so a reason that we're coming to the Disability Commission, obviously ADA compliance is a big deal in the city and would be super great to get you guys to help identify a contractor, help that contractor work with the public, be a part of the steering committee for this project, and essentially get us closer to actually making physical change. And so something else to mention is that grant that we would apply for future funding. If you have a complete self-assessment and transition plan, you can apply for capital projects and actual physical improvements for buildings, facilities, parking lots, et cetera. But you do need a complete self-assessment and transition plan first. So that's what we were here today to inquire about.
And the question for you, so those consultation services, you would formally go out to bid for that?
Yes. And that's something that we would want you guys to be a part of that process for taking out a contractor.
Okay, so a member of the commission would sit on that
Right,
body of work.
yes.
And the 75,000, Where did that figure come from?
So that came from Lauren speaking with a contractor who does self-assessment contracting work for municipalities. And so looking at the amount of buildings that and facilities that Lynn has, that's the estimate they gave her for tasks 1 through 4 in that packet.
In that, is that on the higher end 75 or is that the
From
minimum?
my understanding, it was generous. That's how Lauren described it. It was a generous estimate. So without the bid, ideally that would be a lower amount. But I'm not 100% sure what that final figure would be.
Is there an amount you could cover, or are you looking for the full cost?
For now, we are looking for the full cost of that 75,000. For future, there are the grants that we were talking about. So Lauren did apply for that grant. This is the Massachusetts Office of Disability. They have a ADA improvement grant, it's called. And so we did apply for it last year and we're not able to secure funding. I'm not sure what the details of what her application included, but her worry is that without progress, it'll be difficult to apply again and get that funding.
Chris, off the top of your head, what was in our budget? I'm trying to look back in my minutes to get a budget amount. 242. I got it.
I mean, this is going to be a key piece, I think, of what
It is
the city need in order to move forward. This is the scope of what we really need. I mean, we did see, you'll see some of the buildings, list of facilities, have a few that were assessed by us in 2023. As the commission aware, that wasn't quite the scope of what we're looking at here. I mean, this covers.
You're right, and I know I'm thinking here that if we don't build a foundation for the city, we don't get the city to grow.
Yeah.
And we certainly don't get the city to grow in the eyes that we're looking through.
From a brief conversation with Lauren, it sounds as though to spend the money up front then opens you up for so many more funding sources down the road.
Yeah, a lot of the grants prioritize the actual ability to complete the project. And so if you have nothing, you're asking for a lot, then they're a lot more hesitant to do that. Yeah, I think a big part of this would be identifying priorities without the Disability Commission to understand, okay, what is the state of all these buildings? And also what can we actually work towards sooner than not to improve?
And I know that's the big picture. I know it is. But the downside for me in the funding, and it's only funding that we have and funding, where should we spend it? I also have this belief that it has to be hands-on to the people in the city. And this is hands-on, but years away.
Mm.
And 75,000 is steep.
Yeah.
But again, when you're picked as a commission, you have to do diligence for the greater good. And sometimes you have to make yourself look like you made the wrong choice when it's really the right choice. So.
And I'll say I've served on the commission for I think 4 years, 5 years. And something that we would do today, 5 years down the road moves pretty quickly.
Moves quick.
I think there's always been a missing piece as to like big picture, what the commission's looking for. But it is a lot of resources too. Yeah, it's a lot of.
And while not hands-on, I think task one list that Lauren wrote here is a big part of it will be meeting with both the city hall staff, but also the community and figuring out what they want to see out of this and what they identify as problems. And I think that's at least gives a tangible aspect to it in the early stages of this.
When you list the facilities, will you be reevaluating what was done in 2023?
So that's part of the job of the contractor would be reviewing the plans and assessments that we already have that are recent enough and assessing to what extent they need to be updated, if they're good enough. And then for ones that don't have any assessments, obviously starting from scratch, but yeah, those will definitely be used and reviewed.
And then when would task 5
Task 5, so the
would come to play?
ADA improvement.
Because that's
grant.
life, you know, you look at task 5 and there's life in the city of Lynn.
Exactly, yeah, I agree. And that's, yeah, it's a ton of things, and that's why that's, well, just one task, the biggest portion of the budget. So the ADA improvement grant opens up in spring. So I think last year it opened in May and it closed in June. And so this year I'm expecting a similar thing. They haven't said the exact dates this year, but they have said it opens in spring, closes in summer, and then awards are given in winter. And so Lauren's estimate when I was talking to her about it is that tasks 1 through 4 would be about a year process, including procurement and everything. And then adding on task 5 would be an extra few months, she said. So whether that's like 3 to 6 months, I'm not sure, but if we apply for that grant and receive funding, that's something that could be done as soon as middle of the next year, so 2027.
And this would just be an evaluation, not a move forward and make it functional.
This would be the self-assessment evaluation and the transition plan. And the transition plan would be a thorough plan about how to move forward. And then once that plan is in place, it opens up a lot of doors to actually get those transitions done. But yeah, the transition plan is part of the stated kind of requirements that the state gives, is both self-assessment and then that transition plan.
How did we get the list? How did these become a priority for task 3?
I think this is just the comprehensive list of the facilities. The only missing section we have here is schools, public schools. But that's something that falls under the umbrella of these school districts themselves.
They have their own, they'd have to do it on their own, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they'd have to go through their own process of evaluating. It's something that we could work with them for. I'm not sure what that looks like on our end, but that's something that Lauren originally had a full list, including the schools, but in speaking with the contractor, usually school districts seem to go about that themselves.
For those of us joining remotely, are there any questions that you might have for Nick related to this topic?
Oh, Louise is here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's sake again. Discussion, formality. Put a motion forward to fund the $75,000 requested for the ADA self-assessment and transition plan. I'm using tasks 1, project tasks 1 through 4.
Is there
Second.
any discussion?
I think I have said all I have to say. I'm sorry. My questions have been answered. Thank you.
It does sound like a lot of money, $75,000, but I do think it's a huge investment. A huge investment for a worthy outcome. You can't get to those transition plans there. If you're trying to apply for other grants and we don't have that foundation, then we're spinning in circles here. So I feel like it's in our best interest to invest in this process here. And then I really appreciate the idea that members can participate and serve on your steering committees and be a voice for the commission as well. And so I don't feel uncomfortable about this.
Good. We're still in discussion.
We're in discussion.
Okay. In the best case scenario, could pieces be taken from task 5 and put into task 4?
I believe they would be able to. I'm not 100% sure. That's something that I would have to speak to Lauren about, but I don't see why they wouldn't. It's essentially the same approach and task, just with different facilities. And so if there's like certain priorities, and I think that's,
Especially the GAR building.
Yeah.
That's just been done, so that's words on a piece of paper.
yeah, and that's why I think that ideally, once we put it out to bid and get actual bids from contractors, hopefully that number is less, and hopefully, in working with the steering committee that includes you guys, we can identify maybe if there's, things from the task 5 that we want to move into task 4, and maybe buildings that we want to move to task 5, switch things around, and again, identify priorities.
You could just pick any one of those parking lots. It make something, and not that the list is less important,
Yeah,
but it's less used by the community versus
yeah, a lot
the
of
need
buildings.
within the city,
I agree.
right?
So, yeah,
It
that's
does
definitely
meet the needs of what the city needs, but does it meet the needs of what the people are needing every day?
Yeah.
And I don't want to pick, because I'm not the educated one to put this together.
Yeah,
So
but,
if-
I mean, you're already making points that I think me and Laura didn't think about what we should do first and what's convenient to do first and what's important to do first. And so I think that's a good point to mention. So I think that's definitely, that can be a pretty fluid list. And I'm not sure how that would affect the funding, if that can get kind of balanced out, but I think that would be a good idea.
So if we could just revisit that list
Yeah.
and reconsider because I don't think you can name a good parking lot on the street. Especially, my son's in a wheelchair, so I'm in them, and there's not a path to be taken.
Yeah.
And then I don't Fraser Field, right?
Mhm.
That might be a big one.
Yeah.
But it's also a big
Deal.
It's used, it's a
Yeah.
big deal. That's all. I'm just, because I'm afraid to even go near the playgrounds, because there's a hefty list of them, and that's might be too hefty to negotiate,
So,
but
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna, one question where we have, like, I know Barry Park, they went through the process recently with community development, ADA improvements. Now, would the consultant take what the city's already done, like, over with community development and kind of gather those resources before, because I know there's been a handful of parks that,
Yeah,
you know, they've done, so it's,
Yeah.
which was a start in the right direction.
yeah, many of them have been.
Yeah.
I've been flagging a third of them.
Yeah, and I think that's task 3 on point 1 under task 3. It says survey and or review existing reports of all city owned and operated buildings, parks, and right of way to evaluate compliance, etc. Or am I reading the wrong one? There should be one where it says review all existing. Yeah, here it's task 2.1. Sorry. The consultant will be responsible for obtaining and conducting an intensive review of all written policies, rules. Oh no, I'm gonna bring the wrong one. But there's a point on here somewhere that essentially says, look at all the existing work that has been done in this realm and review it for its validity and use it if it's useful or scrap it if it's not. And I imagine in a lot of cases that the existing assessments will be useful. I think the problem is just that we left the door open on a lot of them.
We are a progressive bunch, so. Few of us have sat here for years with minimal progress, so if we can be part of progress and moving the city forward, and even if it's steps that are viewed tiny, I think they're foundational.
Yeah.
So, Rochelle, you want to take a roll call? Want to take a roll call?
Roll call, please.
Rochelle?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Patty is yes. Louise?
Yes,
Is that a yes?
yes,
Funding the project?
yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Okay. Motion has passed.
You called me twice.
Did I call you? Oh, that's because yeah,
Oh, yes. too.
that's because I called you up on the list, and then I was.
From Chris, and he was.
Chris is in there, yes.
All right.
This is huge though, because this is everything that we've talked about.
Yeah.
So to have somebody else collect all of that data.
Yep.
The scope's huge.
Yes, yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Thank you for that. And, all right, so we're moving on to our next agenda item.
I should just mention a few quick things unrelated to this, but I was at a meeting previously about the microtransit funding. We haven't heard back about anything about that yet. I just wanted to mention that
Okay.
I'm still keeping an eye out for that. Should be soon. And yeah, if there's something else I emailed you about, I'll say that.
Websites, they did announce a whole bunch of
I heard.
grants that were awarded, and I was looking for Lynn, and
I
I,
did
my heart just
too.
melted. I'm like, what happened to Lynn?
Yeah, I got a call from Via, the company we worked with on the application today, and they said they heard from someone about getting funding, so I'm hoping it's soon, but we'll see. Norris has mentioned that usually you hear a negative thing before a positive thing, so fingers crossed, we'll see. And the other thing is that for part of my work with transportation, that the city is putting together a plan by June, and so part of that is a disability focused transportation plan. And that's something that I'm hoping to kind of have more progress on by next month, but I was hoping to kind of get a slot in the meeting next month to bring what I have worked on with you guys to get some input. If that's something
For March.
for March.
And you would be coming with what you have so far and the questions
Yeah.
they have, correct?
Input and questions about how I'm going about the actual plan itself and what you guys think would be good to focus on as I start work on it.
So as you gather that information, if you could send that at the time and then, get you on the agenda, of course.
Thank you very much.
All right. On to the next one, we have Lynn Disability Network, request for sponsorship for an inclusive sensory and recreation program. Looking for funds for the application fee. And presenter is Louise Dominique.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
All right, Louise, we're ready for you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity on behalf of Lynn Disability Network. Lynn Disability Network is a local nonprofit working with children and families with disabilities. This proposal is for inclusive sensory recreation program. It is going to be the safe program for children and parents. The program will be held in Lynn Public School gyms. Sorry. So we are requesting a one-time amount of $2,975 to cover the requirement for custodian and the facility fee, with a payment made directly to Lynn Public School. Thank you.
All right. So question for you, Louise, how many individuals would you be served? It looks like based on the application, it looks like it's something that's running every Saturday.
Yes, it's like I'm gonna be every Saturday until June. So it's like because I'm trying to make it like 10 to 12 kids, because families members gonna be on the side with them, so not to be too crowded.
So 10 to 12. And out of curiosity, what kind of activities happen during this time?
So we're gonna have movements, so like a kind of gyms, and it's just kind of for inclusions and social skill for the kids to come together. So it's like we have movements, and we have like some exercise gonna be doing it, some dancing, depending of the kids more, depending of the kids what the movement they're gonna be doing, because it's gonna be including kids with like wheelchair users, or kids who have like profound autism, like high needs, kids who have like kids who can do work by themselves with other peers, because some of them not, but some of them can. So we're gonna try to put that program together for everyone can be included.
And how many children per week?
We're going to, like I said, 10 to 12 children a week.
Oh, 10 to 12 children per week?
Yes.
And what's the staff?
Parents gonna be there, so we have volunteers gonna be there too, but parents have to stay inside.
And you have this secured already? This is already in place and it's gonna happen, or this is a proposal?
It is in place, because what happened, so when I request it, so when the school sent me like the amount, the budget, so like I was like, oh, that's something I'm not gonna be able to afford for myself, so that's why I'm here. Yes, the place is like the time, everything is set up, just the money, so I have to respond.
And who will be running the recreation programs?
I am.
You are.
Yes.
Do you carry insurance?
Yes.
Am I missing it?
Is that included in the building?
Yeah, the insurance. So you have to have insurance to be working in that building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that part of the
I
user
think
fee?
it's part of the user fee.
Okay.
Okay, good.
And so it looks like you're asking for the administrative fees to be covered. Um, are there other materials or supplies that you might be using?
I do, because I have my essential program I've been doing for a while, so I like most of the thing I have. But so what I like to do, so I'm just like find somebody else to help. If you guys can give me more, it would be nice. So because like sometimes the kids gonna be like some snack. So like, give cover some snack because sometimes like I am a parent. Sometimes like I'm running out, I left the lunch box inside, and then so next thing I'm in the middle of the road without no food. So I'm trying like to get some little snack in the corner for the kids.
And this amount is strictly would be paid to the school department?
Yes. Directly to the school department, yes.
Yeah, for the rental and custodial services.
Yes. I don't know it was gonna be so high, but hey.
Everything costs.
Everything costs ways, you know that.
Oh, I thought something I was be able because I've been covering this program all by myself, my own funding. So I was like, that's so high for me.
I like that it goes on for 3 months.
Yeah.
When does it start?
It's 1 to 3 in the afternoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
7 to 6, 7.
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I think I do. But I got energy by doing because guys, I'm doing a cooking class in once a month, so for the kids with special needs. So every time, even though I feel tired, so when that day is coming, so the energy is coming back. So
Oh, here I go again.
I think the bank's gonna be closed next month.
Right? Right? Louisa, I respect your profession. I respect what you're doing. I am more than willing to give it a try and see how you go.
Thank you.
So I will put forward a motion to fund the Lynn Disability Network for a one-time amount of $2,975 to cover costs as stated for the times as stated.
Now second that.
And discussion.
So I think it sounds like it's a really good and beneficial program for the kids to be able to go to the gym and utilize it and do those activities in like a non-stressful way.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking too, are we still going to plan on donating to the swim? Okay.
I would hope we would, I'm just.
Right.
Yeah, separate
thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Even if it's an open gyms are important for 12 kids to gather and
They are.
learn how to play.
Oh yes, yes.
And I know. So requesting the 2,975, that's what's being asked for.
Right.
But I'm wondering for a program like this, materials and supplies. Not that I'm trying to spend, but, and it wasn't asked for, but if the commission would be interested in possibly, re-sponsoring.
Right. So is it something that we should agree to sponsor this at this moment? And then once you're into it, and if you see that there's a need for some supplies or.
Yeah.
25.
Cause I think this is we're gonna do procurement with the school on this, it sounds like.
This
So
is gonna
that
be
may
its
be
own
an
bill.
additional, yeah, so we're gonna be paying the school.
Okay, so this would be like a separate funding for,
I'm just
but
thinking of.
Louise said she has a lot of things, so we don't wanna,
Mm-hmm.
I think we would probably need you. While you're working to determine, sometimes you don't know what you need until you're there,
I agree.
so. And, I mean, do we wanna add a little extra for snacks? I don't even know how much. And what they would eat, what they,
Right.
so I don't know what your thoughts are.
I agree. I mean, I think that while she's kicking this off, and if this is something you may decide you want to do this again next year or not, but but you could kind of take this opportunity to see how this program is going, how
Yes.
it is, where you need to tweak, where you might need a little bit of assistance, and then and circle back to the commission, I believe if needed.
And do you have a sense, do you document your costs so that if we asked you at the end of the program, what were your extra costs? Would you know?
Yes,
Okay,
That might be a good idea if if you're purchasing out of pocket, just save the receipts.
yes.
We can get an idea of what we could fund in the future. For that piece.
Okay.
And how many, I know you said 10 to 12. But how many kids are what would you max out for that Saturday?
oh, yeah.
Cause I'm sure there's a lot of kids that might want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids like talking about my cooking class, so I have to close the registration so early all the time because parents keep asking me for if I have opening, so I know the same thing gonna happen. So I think I would be max like to 15 kids like I do to my cooking class. So even though I say 12 kids, but I will always give like 3 family opportunity to come.
And it might be a good volunteer opportunity too for
Oh yes,
high schoolers looking for community service hours.
yes.
So I don't know if you reached out at all to the high schools or
Not yet.
not yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think if we move forward and then maybe Louise could give us an update in a month or two and kind of see how her costs are going and then revisit that. Would that work?
Yep. I think so.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor, Madam Chairperson, so we need a roll call.
Yeah, will you roll call Louise to abstain, please?
Louise, did you hear that?
No.
We're going to conduct a roll call, but Louise, please abstain from this vote.
Oh, I think.
Rochelle,
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Patty, yes. Chris, yes. Louise? You gonna abstain?
You understand? Yeah.
Thank you, but the motion carries. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
No, I'd love to come down.
Yeah, I think we
Saturday
should take
too.
a little trip over and
Yeah.
check it out.
Excellent. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
Right, so moving on to the open forum portion of our meeting. Is there anyone online publicly that would has anything to say? I don't see any persons present, but online. Okay,
Announce it 3 times.
any open forum, anyone wishing to say something, asking folks that are online? Third time, open forum. Is there anyone online that would like to make a public comment? Open forum portion is closed. We can move on to old business. Old business. Well,
I just have the update I emailed the people at the public schools about the books, but to set up a Teams meeting with them to talk about how we want to roll it out, but they
Yeah.
haven't responded yet, so I'll give them a couple more days and then I'll reach out again.
Okay, pending.
Yep.
Still pending.
Still
But that's okay,
pending.
we'll get that one.
We're working, it's.
Because if we
it's in the
can't do
works.
disability for June, we can do school year September.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think if we should be able to get something going,
I hope.
because we just need to know how many books we need to
Well,
order
yeah.
and how long it takes to come in, but.
Oh, speaking of, during the last meeting, I mentioned Ziggy the zebra plays goalie.
Did.
And so I'm holding up a copy of the book. Is Louise still there? Louise, I'm just holding up a copy of the book here. We can certainly, but for consideration for a future book to add to the collection. Ziggy the zebra is a zebra that has some physical disabilities but wants to play goalie, and some of the challenges and successes that Ziggy faces. So just for consideration for future. So the author I did have a chance to speak with, and we would just have to work out some details as far as how many we need, kind of like the same thing,
Yep.
how many we need, and
Oh, this should be great.
Michelle,
yes,
can I borrow that book for next Thursday?
yes.
Because I like to do the reading, like kind of reading program. Or will you be a volunteer to read that book for us on the 12th?
Sure.
Yeah.
Make arrangements offline to connect with you.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the other old business is, Danny was working on, commission member, Danny Acosta was working on the translation for the welcome letter for the new member kit. And so he did submit that to me. I've transferred it over to the letterhead and added the links. And so it's ready for when we have a Spanish speaking member that, we want to welcome them with a welcome letter in your language. So I'd like to thank Danny, although he's not here. I appreciate him putting in work to do that. Other old business?
The ADA signs, the signage, so that order's been placed, so I'm just awaiting. Though the corrections we had
Yes.
allocated, what was it, $980 the last meeting?
Yep.
So I am awaiting the order.
Okay. And then they're installing or, no, they're.
ISD is.
ISD is installed,
Yep.
that's right. Okay, great. Any new business? New business. I feel like we got the-
I don't know how it's on the snow removal or the snow necessities in the city.
Terrible.
But,
It's still wreaking havoc out there. It's like trying to be Tetris driver getting down these streets.
And I know we had offered, I think, informal support to the
mhm.
program for shoveling,
To
but I
shovel.
haven't heard.
On a list that was gonna go through. I saw it, volunteer list all over Facebook.
Yeah,
From ISD,
Mhm.
yeah, for recruiting people that
Yes.
want to
I
volunteer,
don't know
recruiting
where
people
it
that.
went.
Yeah, I saw.
I never saw, but I think it was a thought to be put into action, and then
Oh.
the storm came.
yeah,
So I'm not looking to say they didn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I think they had a great idea, and then the storm came.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah.
great idea just needs to be pushed along to
It
revisit
was
that
just,
idea.
it was a lot of snow.
Mm.
For one storm, it was hard.
Mhm.
I need
Yeah,
a
but it's
volunteer to
all-
come to my house and shovel.
Well,
lots.
It's what can the city do now, because I had to put my car in park at St. George Church, because going from Common to the next Common over
Yeah.
there was now I know his name was Mike, and he was a vet, and he was in a manual chair, and he's trying to push himself through the slush, and he couldn't do it. So what do we do post cleanup to help accessing? I saw snowbanks mounded over yellow plates. So access was not universally cleaned. I'm not even picking on the day of, it's the aftermath of how do we better ourselves? Because I'm sure we see people, we don't see people. I'm sure people are lived in right now since the storm because of a lack of accessibility. They had to shut down Park Street today because they couldn't get a small bus, so we were all playing reverse.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so I know it's, I think we just need, how do we meet the needs when it's 3 and 4 and 5 days post-storm, like,
And it's cold, like it's
Yeah,
not going anywhere.
that's not going anywhere.
By not removing it
Yeah.
appropriately right after the storm caused this, because now they're like rock hard cement
And
snowbanks.
24 hours after the storm, we must have all gone back to work Tuesday. So Tuesday night, I'm driving home from work, and DPW was out full force trying to widen all around the schools. So you saw it done. And I have to say, they did a great job.
And they
Day two.
continue to remove
And they,
some,
Yeah,
but you're right, how do you get to the places that need it?
Yeah.
And I have noticed just, working down.
Mall
that I see
Street,
a lot of,
connecting to the common.
and even I ride around the commons every day,
The
even
width of the
the
path
width
made.
of the path. A chair can't get in there to get into the common. I've seen so many people walking in the street, in
Yeah.
City Hall
Same.
Square,
So I
everywhere.
just think the general public needs to know that it's on the top of our agenda. It is something that we're working diligently with, and so is an ISD.
Rochelle, would it be a good time to that snow removal pamphlet or that
Posting that.
posting to maybe get that to the mayor's, or to the mayor's office for posting, because there's been a lot of postings about storm cleanup.
It was posted on.
It was.
On the
Okay,
City of Lynn's,
this will.
Facebook page, yeah,
I missed
I
that.
believe that's where she posted it at.
Okay. Just
It was
as a
definitely in the
reminder,
Facebook groups, but, did I see it on Lynn City's website?
because you do realize it's not a shovel length, like it's wider,
Yeah.
it's pretty much wider.
Perhaps we could connect with Sosha, the
And
leader. and-
What about like all the curb cuts that are in that downtown area? Is it mapped out? So that when people are going out for cleanup after the DPW, that they know where they are to be able to widen those?
I would have to guess yes, only because every fire hydrant in the city was taken care of. There's not a fire hydrant I have.
The fire department does that.
Right, that's what.
Yeah, they drive around and
They're fire hydrants.
the neighbors.
Because I've watched, now that I see so lack of access, and then I see, well, this department has an A.
Right,
Maybe I haven't found one that's not been shoveled, but everyone I look at has been. So why can't we do a better job of the main streets?
You know, it's that awareness though, right? Like you've always thought to shovel out a fire hydrant and it
Yeah,
needs to be out there more,
right.
that people need to shovel accessible.
it's even like, so around the schools, they did a good job, but right outside of the schools, not so much, so, people still have to walk to get to
Yeah.
the schools, so, or whoever's out, you can.
I think if we just keep it in our brain and we talk, because we have a really good connection in networking within City Hall and all the departments. Everybody's looking to help.
Yeah.
So I just want us to be aware that it difficult storm for a difficult group, and I think it's become even more difficult.
Yeah, especially with the cold, usually
Mm.
we'll have a warm
Just
up.
not
we'll be able
going
to-
away.
Yeah, it's just not, and we're in the teens this weekend as well. So. it's over.
Yeah, it
yes.
could be clear and then it melts a little, freezes and that whole area is a mess.
Yes,
So it's
Terrible.
difficult, but you're right, keep it in mind. And
Yeah,
a storm like that kind of shows, where
where
the problem issues really are.
yes,
And there's-
snowbanks on corners that have higher than.
yes, and
I
you
don't-
can't see, and the
And
people on, yeah,
a lot of the motorized chairs are now on the street.
Yeah.
Because they can't get through, so then you turn and see them.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That was my wind, thank you.
All right, any other new business? None, what is the wish of the commission?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, thanks for joining us, have a good evening.
Thank you.